Here we are. Tuesday night, day after Christmas in the Room podcast, a special Christmas, post-Christmas podcast tonight. We are staying in line with our comedy showcase of local comedians in the Room podcast, something new that we've started this last month. And to end the month of December and our year, or our last month, or our only month of doing this comedy kind of support and getting to know some comedians in the area, is no other than Dan Martin and B. Lee, comedian. What's up, guys, man? Thank you for coming on, man.
How's
the
it
day
going?
after Christmas. Do you have families? Like, how the hell are you here the day after Christmas?
We do, but they only love us, very, very monetarily. So we get to do stuff like this. That's why we're funny.
Sick of you yesterday. They're like, we had enough for the gentleman. Get him out of the house. Let him go to the podcast.
Well, I'm recently divorced, so my family comes in waves.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Congratulations on the divorce.
Thank you.
I'm 8 years in.
8 years.
8 years divorce.
Wow.
It gets better. So I don't know how you and the ex get along or whatever, but we didn't get along very well, and now we do. So it all works out. So
We get along all right. I'm looking forward to when we don't.
then the jokes will just be pouring out, right?
It's all for the material.
Right now, I just have a cat.
Cats are good.
Love this guy already, dude. I'm a cat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had cats like all your life, or is it just
Pretty much
something?
on and off. Yeah. This one's name is Betty White, and a golden girl.
Yeah. I'm a fellow pussy lover.
Are you?
Yeah, but I like mine in pairs.
Was it inherited, or you have a girlfriend that had a cat? And
No,
it's just your
I try
cat?
not to inherit pussy from family. It's not normally the best. No,
I'll take it where I can get it.
I grew up with cats, if that's what you're asking. I lived in apartments most of my life, so yeah, I didn't have dogs until later in life. But yeah, I have Nightmare and Pow Pow, which is short for gunpowder. I couldn't get away with that in the day-to-day with the girlfriend, so Pow Pow cutened it up. But
that's pretty. That's you put some thought into the names of these cats. Mine's just named Bill.
Bill?
See, yeah. I don't like to
Why
name.
did it sound like you made that up?
I just
now.
I don't
What's
like
your
to
cat's
name
actual
cats.
name?
Actually, it is Bandit.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
black.
That's a
and very-
shelter name.
That's an inherited name from the shelter. The cat's like 4. It was 4 years old already. It already knew like its name, and it's like
an old lady who's really into
the best ones though. You know what I mean? They're already like kind of acclimated. Hopefully with somebody that wasn't like an asshole to the cat. You know what I mean? Usually you get to like hang out with them a little while before you get.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, Jesus.
We're gonna talk.
This is
Fucking cats. Hey,
three
dude, you know
grown
what I
men
mean? Here we
talking
are.
about
Well,
domestic cats.
Well, Dan started with. He has a cat.
It's the In the Room
It's
podcast.
fucked, man. Now we'll get to some comedy.
Yeah,
well, guys,
sure.
First of all, B. Lee, I think it was you that maybe you were tagged in the little post I put out there, or maybe you saw it, that I threw out a
I
post.
saw it. I follow the rooms pretty close because I'm not as accomplished as Dan, so I have to. So yeah, I saw your post and I was like, oh yeah, I need more exposure. So I hit you up and found out that there was way more desperate people who don't have day jobs that got to you first. So yeah, we got a later booking.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, Steve and I talked a while ago, privately. I was one of the people that messaged you a while back.
This was when I first, I think,
believe
came
so.
out with it. We're going months back. I was
then,
and I got like, I think I get a bite from you, but
You did.
we never, nothing ever panned out from it.
I ended up doing some plays, and I did a couple of
important things. He fucking blows me off.
He's
for
an
that
actor
shit.
too.
So yeah, all
Yeah.
right. So go ahead. Now let's talk about it. Plays and
it wasn't. I ended up doing some plays. I think at the time we were just coming out of the pandemic, and I was in a play I was in the I can't remember the full title of the play. We called it American Guns. But it was a play about like gun violence in America. And I was in that show, and I was also doing the special effects for the show. So like at the end of the show, there was a big shootout, and I got my brains blown all over the wall.
Oh no shit! Is that some
Yeah.
like special effect? Is that something that you
It's
you
something
know,
I
did as
dabble-
it like
Something I dabble with. I've never
dressing
done
people
anything
up into zombies and shit
like
that?
just doing like little like makeup and splatter effects for. I've mostly done it for plays because the theater that I work with, Daydream Theater, the director likes to do things in the play that you don't normally do in a play. You know what I mean? So I've done some squibs for Stabbings and other shows he's done, and we made some. I made some hand operated oatmeal blood bags for brains that would squirt off the wall.
That look
Real
incredibly.
underachievement.
That look incredibly real, probably with the right camera angle, lighting, and
Well,
everything
it's
else.
just
Right?
It's just people in the
well, oh
in the
yeah, it's
theater.
like in the
Yeah.
theater. So I mean, it's
So it was fun. Mine would always chunk the wall and roll down, and
he went a little over with it. You know, he was
That's
like-
kind of his theme.
yeah. So I think we were doing that at the time, and then just going forward from there, I think I did a couple of guest spots in some local films, and then I ended up doing a couple plays, and then I recorded a special while I was getting divorced. It was a whole fucking thing. So never could line it up.
Jesus, busy guy over here, man. Well, you know, I when I mentioned you know, you were going to be on the show, or I think I threw it on Instagram on the Instagram stories.
Yeah, you did.
first,
Yeah.
and then my boy Andy Kritzikowski, who you know I'm very familiar with, working at Cage Titans, and I've done tons of interviews. I've done their
We know him as Andy Kurz.
I was
Curtis,
gonna say,
I probably say his name. I butcher it, and I probably should just stay with the
Well,
Curtis
we
for
just
now
know
on.
him
But,
as that because that's what he goes
Yeah.
by on stage.
well, that's even better. It's a better name.
Yeah, the B Lees of the world understand that.
We're gonna get to that in a minute, like V
Yeah.
leagues and like, all right, you guys. All right. So to get back at you know, when I put the post out there, you know, you got pushed aside from the B leaguers and stuff like that. But I had so many people reaching out, and I don't know. I think it's because I threw it on the group page, that open mic group page.
Yeah.
When I first put it out, I think it was just on my personal page. Maybe I don't know how you got in touch. Maybe I did throw it on another comedy page or
I
something.
think I just found John. I mean, B. Lee likes to joke that I'm too famous, but I'm not. I'm just locally dope. But I like to say I'm a medium deal. I look around for stuff, so I think I might have found you, and saw that you were talking about it on one of the medias. But I mean, I think I might have found you.
Yeah, and yeah, there was a couple of comedians that probably been on the circuit with you and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
maybe they shared it or they were talking on there, and maybe that's how you saw it or something like that. But like I said, no one bit, or just things didn't line up this time around. I threw it out there, and
Yeah.
I've been to open mics. The Legion pub on the Park. I live right there. I grew up right there. So I've been to the Monday night shows there. 'Cause I have a couple of beers and then get something to eat, and my house is right down the street.
Nice.
So I've seen what they've like, and I've seen established comedians there, just getting working out new jokes or feel of something. And then you have the people right off the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they're just bitter, or I've seen a couple of people in recovery there, and they're just like dishing out, venting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's just like, holy shit.
That's kind of the
Is
mixed
that
bag you get.
yeah? So is that
I don't
where
know.
a comedian always gets their start? Basically, open mics. Is that where you get your chops from, and
Just
figure out if this is for me or not?
Yeah, I mean, MMA.
Yeah.
So it's just like working out. Like that's our gym, open mics. Then when you get lucky enough to get shows, then you get to try them out in front of real people that actually want to hear your jokes, that aren't the guy that just stumbled in off the street to have a couple beers. So then you get to try it out in front of a comedy crowd and see how it actually works, and see how those jokes work. Then you work them from there, and then you try to put together something big and special, like a 1 hour special, like this guy. Hint, hint. But
Well, I mean, I've been doing comedy for 15 years. I started by going to open mics, and then one of the cool things was at the time here in East Providence, the Comedy Connection was it was a cool place to hang out, and eventually they would do like these like bringer shows. So I started doing those, and then I started going up to Boston, and you could hang out at the Comedy Studio in Cambridge for a while, and they had like a process where you would hang out, and then you would, ask for dates, and you would have to go to a certain amount of shows and kind of see what you like, and it kind of like was all right. And then so I did that a lot, and I got I think I have like 70 or 80 like demos from my time up there, because they would give you a free 5-minute tape, 5 to 7 minute tape every time you did a show was free. So I have like a whole, like my whole comedy like start is documented. So the good, the bad.
Is there stuff from the beginning there that you have now, you bring back every so often, or is it just like no, the layers?
Some of my like one of the first jokes I've ever written is in my comedy special today.
Okay.
But a lot of it's gone differently, But yeah, so I remember that's how I got my start, and then just putting in the dues there, and then going over to like just going to the clubs and hanging out. Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was like 2009, but there was a sense of like you could basically put in your time and go to places and help out and hang around and get work. It's a little different now. You can still do that, but now it's a lot of open mics and networking, and it was always like that, but there aren't that many clubs in Rhode Island. There's a couple more that are coming up, a couple shows that are getting their feet. We work with the Glue Factory. I thank them in my special. They were really nice to me. So, and there's a couple of breweries that have guys that are running good shows.
And
You meet them at open mics.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I met the producers of my special at an open mic. Corey Mayo runs the open mic at Rick's.
That's where we met.
Yeah, actually met Corey at a place called Scurvy Dog. If you know that place, they were doing a mic there for a while. Nicole Auclair used to run it. And I guess I came in and bumped him. I'm not like that. So
See what I mean about him being famous?
so
I don't even realize I bumped people.
so I came in and like I wasn't like, hey, let me bump these fucking assholes. I came in and the host was like, I'm going to bump you because you're here. And I was like, I don't. And I usually would be like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So they did it. It wasn't me, I promise. But Corey, I hadn't met him yet, but he got like pissed. And I can't remember. It was Stevie Collins, another great dude.
Oh.
He goes, hey, shut up and just watch him. Right? He's like, don't say anything. Like, that's Dan Martin. And he was like, what the fuck? And then he watched me and he like loved me. And he was like, oh, I run this mic over here, come over here. And I went over there and he would just give me all this time to work on my special. And then eventually he was like, the special fell apart because of the pandemic. And then I came back to Rick's and he was like, hey, we have this room at Stadium. You want to record your special there? And I was like, fuck yeah. So it was like, so yeah, I mean, I got long-winded, but that's...
No.
That's all right, man.
It's good
That's why
because
we're
I
here
can
to tell the
segue
whole
from
story.
there.
Yeah.
So,
Make sure you're in the mic like a...
like a
the penis.
professional. Yeah, that's why I'm so bad at it. I think I'd be really great at sucking dick. I don't have much of a gag reflex. It's just don't find them that interesting.
I just don't have
They're
like
not
a
good looking.
Yeah.
I don't even like looking at mine.
Yeah,
I
I've had
grab
mine
it with
for
2
fucking
hands,
8
so I don't
years.
see much of it.
It's not that I don't want to suck dick. It's just that my work ethic isn't there.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
I got
it's
neck
long.
problems. I think that's
I don't
where
know if
it
I
would
could
end.
turn myself on that way.
Yeah. But anyways, Rick's. Let's segue from dicks to Rick's. Riffing and Rick's. We're riffing on the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, I actually met Dan there my second day in comedy. And then my second week in comedy, the very next week, he sat down with me and we had dinner. And my girlfriend started hitting us because we kept laughing at each other during other people's sets. And she said, "Stop laughing so loud. They're gonna think you're laughing at them."
Or wait, they're gonna think they're funny.
Yeah.
She was.
My girlfriend's a hell of a critic.
Yeah.
She ain't a comic. But
Don't
she's
give
a
him
critic.
anything.
Yeah.
Don't give him anything.
She's like, "Stop laughing. You're giving them false hope." So that was my second week in comedy. And
That's what
met
I try to
Dan.
do at Mike's is, try to just network, make friends.
Mm.
Because you never know, like, who you're gonna hang out with, or
Get you another show, or
or just hang out and get along with.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
And then a lot of these people you get along with, like, you met him at one of these. You guys end up like doing, a bunch of shows together, or as a kind of clique there, right?
I
Or
think
no?
that does happen. I think with Dan and I personally, Dan and I became real friends in real life. Like we go out, we hang out. He knows what my house looks like. He can find the bathroom on his own, So like we're actually friends,
yeah.
There are people that are just, comedy clique friends, I think. Yeah, that does happen. We actually, are friends in real life. And then that does turn into, hey, I got booked on this. They were asking if you needed anybody else, vice versa. We've both done it for each other. Of course, his vouch means a lot more, but
Well, that's cool to be tagging along with him. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
a
no.
little bit, or is it vice versa now? I mean, no, I'm just playing with you. I mean, we've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
We didn't get to your start. You
let's get
talked
to him.
about,
Yeah.
your first time you met him,
So-
but you're fairly, I want to say, new at this.
That's
like,
fair to say,
your
yeah.
cherry's hasn't been popped too long ago. Kind
It
of.
had, yeah.
fell on his
I have
bike seat.
calluses at this point.
He fell on his bike seat.
Yeah. So I like to equate it in Mike's done over like time, because I have only been in it. November was my year. Celebrated that at Rick's. But that was my year, one full year of doing comedy. I was writing before that. I had 100 jokes written before I even started. But it was a mic called Copperfields I started at that isn't even around anymore. Copperfields
Not
is,
in
but they don't.
Warwick.
No,
Oh, all
there
right.
was one in Johnston.
Yeah,
It was-
it's still one in Johnston. I
yeah,
think.
it was a Tuesday mic.
They don't have the mic there anymore, but
yeah,
the place
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
all
it's-
right,
it
you
still
meant the
exists.
mic's
Yeah,
not
the
there.
mic.
the
yeah.
place is still
Yeah,
there.
but they that was the one I started at. And then I was doing it for a year. I'm a little over a year now, but my first month, I did over 20 mics, I think it was, or I did 20 mics. And some people do like a mic a month, their first year, and I kind of knocked that out my first month. So
He got out of the B League right away.
Yeah.
He's working his way out.
I
of there.
put the B
Well,
in
how
B
much
League.
time do they give you up there? As far as when
depends
you're
on
kind
what mic. Sometimes it's, the mics around here are typically between 5 and 7 minutes. Some can run longer
It's
if
a
you don't
long
have
time
that
if
many
you
people.
Don't get a laugh, right?
Well, it's a long time if you don't have jokes. Yeah, if
Just
you
make
didn't
up
write
stuff and start
anything.
yelling at people like I've seen.
We've all seen that.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm not proud.
Yeah, no. And there's also times where you end up going longer because, you had to riff off some, guy in the crowd, whether they be a jerk or not. Some people are good intentioned and still screw up a joke, So there's a lot of,
I don't do a lot of crowd stuff, so for me, I have a lot of material. But then, if a crowd is not giving me anything, or is heckling, or giving me something, then I insult them, sort of a thing. I don't
Try to get their attention.
I don't try to engage any one person, because that usually goes crazy. But
Yeah, that's normally only a tactic when that one person becomes the problem. More so than some cute heckler in the crowd. I actually had a chick become a fan of mine because I made very, very deprecating jokes about her, very much about her vagina. Or yeah, there was a lot of talk about antibiotics. A lot of antibiotics, and she
what's
actually
gone?
became a fan of mine. and
And
banged another comic.
we slept together.
No, she banged another comic and told him I was the funniest comic
That's
of the night.
a weird flex.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I got another comic laid.
That's how funny I am. I don't just
So
get
you're
myself
funnier-
laid with comics.
It happened while you were
funnier-
growing
I get
up. Did your friends like, you know, your ex-girlfriends or
You might be
girlfriends bang
funnier
your
than him,
friends
but
and
he's
shit
more
like that?
fuckable
Like,
than
it happened
you.
to me.
That-
you know? Every
not-
time I would break up with a girl, she'd
That-
be like one of my friends.
Yeah,
I'd be
that
like,
only
"What
happened
the
with
fuck,
me
man?
once I
Can't
know
get your
of."
own girl. Well, I already have a dialogue where they were, you know, we used to hang out.
Dialogue.
Get the fuck out of here. Your own work.
OPP, man.
Yeah. Well, I heard how good it was from you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
know.
holy shit, he's already
once-
on third base. He hasn't
you-
even like had a work yet.
You
once
told me
got
how
in
good
trouble.
that Chick-fil-A sandwich was, and you were right. So I figured she was too.
I once got in trouble because a woman in the audience, I thought there was a comic before me that was talking about COVID or some shit, and there were people at the show that weren't vaccinated or some bullshit. Whatever. So what I got in trouble for though was I called it out. I was like, who wasn't vaccinated? Whatever I said. Just did a callback. I don't remember the joke. That's how stupid it was. Like, it was an in the moment thing. And some woman reacted, and I couldn't, I mean, the lights are bright on any stage usually, right? So the light's right in my face. I can't see you. You see me. That's how the lights work, right? A lot of times. Some lady fucking oohed or awed or booped and beeped, whatever they do. Like, and I thought, okay, that's the woman who wasn't vaccinated. So I was like, I'll give you something worse than COVID or something. I said something like that,
Yeah.
right? And it wasn't the woman. And then that woman was like, he was threatening to rape me. Or whatever the hell she said. I felt sexually threatened, and she asked for her money back.
You're at a show. You gotta like.
It's the risk.
This is why
we
I
run.
don't talk to the crowd.
And is that all right? So
That is not my policy. No.
So is that your thing? Are you like? Is it like?
I host a lot, so I'm used to like having a riff off the crowd, and I sometimes bring it upon myself because I get bored. I like to write new jokes every week, and I'll try out those jokes. But sometimes when I get a crowd in front of me and they're talking and they're not paying attention, I'm like, fuck the jokes. I'm gonna get the crowd back, and so the next 6 guys after me don't have a shitty time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to win these people back and make them remember they're watching comedy. Because they're
See, I
talking
don't-
about bullshit that doesn't matter.
I don't think that highly of myself. Like, I'm not doing it in the moment to get them back or anything. I'm just doing it to have a good time.
Yeah,
While I'm up there.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think that, I mean, I love myself and everything, kind of. But I don't think so. Like, I'm going to make this show
exactly.
better.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to make this show good for me, and then I'm going to get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
I gotta fuck around with these people.
Am I
a little
above sexually threatening a crowd? No. But do I do it for you?
Oh, and it's definitely more so for me. It's a hero mentality, for sure. It's like, oh, P. Lee, you saved the show. That's how I see it in my head. Guy jumping off bridge. Oh, I saved you from dying. He probably should have died. But I'm going to say I saved him. Like, he still can't pay his mortgage. Like, Like,
I'm gonna make him suffer.
his
a little
wife
while
still
longer.
won't blow him. Like, I can't fix that. But it's like, hey, you didn't die. I'm a hero. Like, that's how I look at it.
So-
So I'm still a piece of shit.
Fairly new in the game.
Yep.
All right.
So
It's been a while. Stop.
Yep. Oh, sorry.
It's been a while since you've been in there. So this question is for you. How'd you know you were funny? How'd you know you could do this? You know what I mean? Like, what makes... Because I have balls of steel, but I can't get in front of people. I think I have a little humor, but I can't get in front of people and tell a story without fucking, like, being scared out of my mind.
It's a hell of an origin story. You ever seen The Matrix?
Which one?
So like when he realizes like he had been seeing shit the whole time, kind of thing. Kind of Sixth Sense did the same thing. That was kind of like when I like first did comedy. Like when I like did my first mic and finished it, that happened. I was like, oh shit, there was all these signs that I missed. But I didn't start it until, like I said, a year ago. I'm 38 now, so I was 37 when I started. I had so many jobs throughout life, but I was in retail pharmaceuticals for 11 or 12 years, something like that. During the pandemic, during the plague, as they say, a homeless guy came into the store. I was acting, all crazy, grabbed me in a bear hug, and I just pushed them out the door. Nothing crazy. Didn't do any, karate or anything. Nothing nuts. And they fired me. And so it turns out it was contagious. Homelessness. It's the worst case I've had since I was a child. But yeah, so after my career was over, I was like, oh, I don't want to give 12 years to another corporation for something that I don't care about. Let me try something that I'm actually interested in. And at that time, I attributed this to podcasts. My whole life, I was always a fan of comedy, like other people are sports. My brother remembers every sports statistic he's ever seen, right? But you asked me about like any set I've actually sat through, and I can tell you most of the jokes, and Dan can attribute this. Like, I will go back and be like, hey, your joke that you have here, I like this part, but, try this. Like, I remember people's jokes really well. So I've always been a historian of comedy, but I never thought I could do it. I always thought the guys that were doing it started out at that funny. Like the Bill Burrs of that.
I think a lot of people think that at first. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And so that was my problem. Was like
started out famous.
Yeah. Like oh yeah, he was just really funny, and some guy was at a deli choking on a sandwich, listening to him. And he was like, "Hey, I'm a producer. Let me give you a job."
Yeah, exactly.
Like I didn't realize how it progressed, and then I started listening to podcasts of comedians that I liked, and then I started hearing how they came up. The actual stories, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot. Like me, oh, actually, I got a story worse than that,
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, all right, And so there was a little bit of, oh yeah, I could be funnier than that guy, And then I started writing because I knew I wanted to do it. I moved back home to Rhode Island from Vegas. I was living in Vegas at the time. I was out there for 9 years. So I moved back home because there was a lot more couches that I could sleep on out here. And I started writing and studying comedy shows. I watched a lot of Kill Tony because they focus on like 1 minute, and it's all open mic style comedy. And I wanted to see what open mics were like, but didn't really have any exposure. And so that's how I kind of got ingratiated to it. And then my girlfriend said, hey, quit your job. You have a year to prove that you can do this before we move to Texas and you actually try to do this for a profession. So I quit my job. I did the mic on Tuesday. Met Dan on a Wednesday. And it's all been pretty downhill from there.
Nice.
I
can only go up from here, right?
Yeah.
Or
So I hit the ground running. Like I said, I hit as many mics as possible when I first started. I tried to get on as many shows as I could. I think my first year I did like over 20 hosting spots at mics, and then I think I did a dozen shows. I don't know if that includes me on Last Comix Standing, which is not the famous one on TV. It's the one at Mohegan Sun locally.
Last Comix.
Yes, there's an X. I can't pronounce
it's not affiliate. It's not affiliated. It's their own thing.
It's their own thing, but it is a yearly
maybe if you win that, they give you a shot.
They do. They give you a headlining spot, I believe it is. If you win it, you get a cash prize. There are, major benefits, and it's locally renowned. Like, people know about it around here. But yeah, it is a local thing out in Mohegan Sun. But I got on that my first year, so that was kind of a little bit of a brag.
Came out of the gates.
Yeah, like I lost in the first round to this guy. Yeah. That was a hell of a car ride up going, all right, so after you beat me, where are we going to get dinner?
Yeah, exactly.
I lost that year, though. I scrubbed out.
Yeah. Well,
All right, so you mentioned, you've done makeup and acting and stuff like that.
Yeah. I started acting when I was 14. I started doing improv.
Listen to me. That was going to be my question. Has improv ever been in your thing?
Very good at improv.
That's fucking, like, all I can think is, whose
that's
line is it anyway?
That's a wicked brag,
but stuff like that.
No, so I came up doing improv, and then I started doing school plays and things like that. But what really interested me was improv. So I would go to like watch Improv Jones in the 90s at AS 220, and then I would do their open sessions. And I was doing improv at like 14, 15. I was going and hanging out with college kids and learning improv outside of school, being in places where I wasn't quite supposed to be. But they just would let me in and do it. You know, I wasn't drinking. They weren't doing it, corrupting me. They were just teaching me improv, which is probably worse.
So what? All right. So explain what it is. I mean, it's
So like
pot acting, pot.
So improvisation is just it's yes and right. So it's taking a situation and running with it and adding to it. A lot of it's comedy. It's considered a form of comedy. It doesn't have to be. Serious things can be improvised too. But it's just it's basically building a character in the moment and building on a situation, right? So learned how to do that early on. What you were talking about earlier, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like party games, things like that. Those are acting exercises that were turned into party games, right? So that's short form improvisation. I'm a fan of long form improvisation. And what that is like, you ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes.
That show is fully improvised. So it's long form, meaning they build characters that tell a story and it keeps going. And when they build on it, they add it to the next episode and so forth and so on.
Fucking wild.
Reno 911 is another one that is completely improvised in long form.
Yeah, they storyboard it, right? But all the dialogue is all improvised, right?
Right.
They have a general concept.
Right, and if something messes up or during the improvisation, another character does something like shoots someone or
they just gotta roll with
they gotta add it to the thing.
Yeah, it's funny. They do that the same thing in Alec Baldwin movies.
Oh shit.
Oh well, at least the last one anyway.
So I really enjoyed. Oh my god. So I really enjoyed that as a kid. I didn't start doing.
Do you get
stand-up.
thrown out of places a lot?
No,
just play.
Not as much as I should.
I've been thrown out of places.
I mean, like
but
Walmarts and shit, just in line, like fucking
Walmarts.
saying shit.
He said that like he's from Walmart.
Yeah. That's a Rhode Island
Anyway,
accent.
so I didn't do comedy until I was 29. So I spent the whole time doing improv, doing stage theater. I got the lead in the Mikado in college. I did musicals. I got the lead in Pippin in high school. I took voice acting lessons, singing lessons. I do voices. I'm not like an impressionist in my comedy at all. I don't really, but I do voices too. So I do, like in theater, I'm a character actor. So I do characters in theater. You have a picture of me in that play, Pussy Hanukkah.
Where was that?
Pussy Hanukkah Comes to Harlem. It's the thing you have on the.
I thought I might have loaded it up here where I was gonna.
I'm wearing like a mullet and
it's fucking fabulous.
I'm wearing a mesh football half jersey and tights.
I believe they were leopard print.
They were
like striped. They were tiger.
They were like stripy.
Tiger stripe.
Yeah, they were fucked up. They were tight as hell, dude. My balls were in my throat.
I think anything on you is pretty tight as hell.
That's a fat joke, and
it wasn't tight when he showed the whole crowd his ass.
I would like to inform you that fat people can wear clothes that aren't tight, and I do that. It just costs $10 more an X.
I'd like to inform every fat person that they should wear clothes that aren't
guys,
tight.
if you're fat and you need some advice, I got you, boo.
My fattest times, my loosest
when
clothes.
did the women actually start wearing the spandex? The larger size women thinking it was okay to wear the tightest fucking.
I believe
spandex
some call that
ever.
Armageddon.
I think that was in like 1980.
I'm fine with it. Their body, their choice. You know what I mean? And I like a woman that looks like a bag of laundry. You know what I mean?
I like confidence. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if it looks like a laundry bag full of wrenches,
well, some of them laundry bag full of wrenches and make it.
I mean,
like,
I don't
who's
really
that
want.
big?
I don't really want to body shame anybody. You know what I mean?
Well, I just started on you. Right?
Once again,
I
have a completely different approach to comedy. Dan and I are not the same comedian by any means. We're just friends. It's why people don't believe it.
I mean, so are you like? I mean, I've watched some of your stuff, and like, I mean, you can get, a little.
Oh yeah.
But you guys are kind of in the same lane, or are you guys like in totally different kind of lanes?
I mean, we
as far as your comedy and your subject matter and how you come across, as far as
I mean, I'd say we've done multiple
the X factor
shows.
As far as
well, we've done multiple shows, and I think every time we've complimented each other. I don't think in any
I think
way
we have different styles, but I'm I tend to, and you've seen my stuff. I tend to. I have a structure. I have joke premises, but my jokes don't come out the same way twice because of my improv background. I mean, on the special now, those jokes are done. And now when I tell those jokes again here and there, I do them the same way-ish because I think they were really good on the special, and I don't want to keep evolving them because I don't want to trick myself and start using them like all the time because they're not dead, but they're on the special.
And you also want people to remember.
And I want to
them,
write new jokes, right? So my style is, and my long-winded way of saying this earlier, how I was explaining the two forms of improv. I feel like my comedy is long-form improv. I've been curating the character of Dan Martin since I started doing stand-up, and every time I get a new story or I get a situation, I add on to it. And that can be illustrated in lots of ways. Like one time we were hanging out at Rick's and I was telling him a story about the stripper on my 23rd birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to butcher that one. That's a good story.
Yeah. And he was like, you need to go right now.
That happened.
You need to go.
That happened again more recently with your brother in the transportations.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was like, yeah. So we're writing this down. Like, the hell? He's over here telling me like life trauma's in a booth, and he's the only one not drinking. And he's like, hey, guess what happened to me? And I'm over here going, why aren't you writing this down? This is the funniest shit you've ever said, not on a microphone.
And that's the thing too. Like if you look at my notebook, it's probably not there, but I've probably told those jokes now about 20, 30 times already.
Yeah, at this point, for sure.
And it's getting fleshed out, and then eventually it'll be done. But so I think we have different styles in that regard. Because Beely is very funny. He's very methodical. I've seen him, with the cards and things that go in the Rolodex don't go in the folder, don't go in the thing, and then there's like paper in his pocket that doesn't go in the Rolodex, it doesn't go in the thing. There's punchlines. He's fucking nuts.
He hasn't lied yet.
I have scraps of paper. Sometimes it might just say like "pussy hammer," and I'm like, sure, it wouldn't be a very good pussy or a hammer if it was a pussy hammer. Which one would you use it as? And then I gotta be like, why did I write that down? And I just throw it away because I'm never gonna write pussy hammer, And I've got lots of stuff like that just words on a page, and I'm like, oh fuck. But if it makes it in, then it gets added on. So I think we have different styles like that. Not to say that I don't premeditate, obviously, jokes, but my style's a little bit different where I kind of write in the moment.
Question. You've been at it sometime.
15 years. Yeah.
You see, I think you can sniff out talent or someone that, hey, this person has it, or if they keep with the chops and keep with the reps, they're going to have it. It seems like, your friendship, just meeting him, this is one of the guys that you have high hopes for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're not going to hang around with him if he,
I want. Like, this is a shit. You know how
you had to have some kind of like connection. You know what I mean?
You know how Beely said that we're different people when I was like, don't body shame the women.
Yes.
I want everyone to succeed. That's my that's my toxic trait.
I was gonna say to Dan's credit, I wish that was the case. I wish that meant that I was gonna succeed.
Yes.
No, he's friends with people he doesn't
felt
think
bad
will
for you.
ever
Let
have
me
it.
just hang
He's
out
a
with this
really
kid
nice
over
guy. He's just really nice. Yeah. It just turns out he also thinks I'm kind of funny.
Shed him and like the
other. No, so I definitely I'm a really nice, affable dude off stage, and that's why I said I've been building the character of Dan Martin. Because if you saw me on stage, you only saw me on stage. You wouldn't talk to me afterwards unless you were a comedian and wanted something from me, which I think happened.
That's fair.
You would see me on stage, you'd be like, this fucking guy, he hates himself, he hates women, he hates his kid. He hates fat people, but he is fat. What the fuck's wrong with him? You know what I mean? Like, he didn't like punch down once, but he hates everything. I think he's an asshole. He's funny, but I'm not going to bother with this guy, right? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know it. I've been told by more famous comedians that I'm unassuming. And I think that's the thing. It's like, hanging out backstage, I'm very polite, especially
Yeah.
with senior comedians that I've opened for. I'm very yes, sir, no, sir. They're like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? But I get starstruck,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But then I go on stage and I rip it up and I come back and they're like, where the fuck's the fat
Yeah, who's
nerd
this?
that was just in here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where's the fucking... I never thought you sniffed a pussy in your entire life. And you were just talking about a stripper fucking you through your mom's jogging pants. Like, you've lived, bro. And you wouldn't know it to look at me.
That's fucking,
Yeah.
man. People have layers, stories, and, there's a lot to them other than just what's on the outside, man.
But
So,
to your point, I do think that Beely is one of the people that has the chops. It's not why I hang out with them, because I said, I could hang out with anybody if they're cool. But it's definitely why I would vouch for them. Definitely why we're comedy friends and not just friends.
if you guys aren't working, as far as, have a gig or something like that, and you go out somewhere, do you go to other comedy acts? Like,
No,
like
not
you have,
typically.
not that you
No.
yeah, that's it. We don't go
No.
see shit.
No, typically that is not where we're seen together. We have places that I won't mention because there are places, and I want to keep them that way.
Just your,
Yeah.
your places that,
But yeah,
for
no,
you and
local
some
spots.
other friends that you
Yeah,
might have.
like we
right?
smoke cigars. That's
Okay.
Dan's sober, but he smokes cigars. That's something that we do together.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
we can enjoy together, and we do that
My
regularly.
main things are video games, cigars, and Legos. That's
Really,
That's
video
what I do.
games, huh?
what I do instead of drugs now.
God,
Oh, and I draw. Yeah.
and make brains explode and stuff with
Yeah,
some
yeah,
makeup and
yeah.
shit
He hasn't
like
done that in a while, allegedly.
But yeah, art and like video games and cigars is like what I have though.
Dan's a savant in everything.
Well, yeah, he seems it. I mean, very creative, very artistic, and a performer.
Yeah.
Anything
Very
I've ever
performance.
got a compliment for, Dan has gotten many more compliments for that were much more deserved.
Thank you.
Well, let me. I have the poster up here about your special happening in
Sure.
January.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it
Let's do it.
and what this entails, and how we see it and all this other stuff. So here it is, right here. Beautiful poster, by the way. I love the
Thank
fucking
you.
colors and
So the album art that that's kind of blurred out because that's going to be the cover. That was done by one of my best friends and local artists, Paul Therian. And then the lettering and the poster was done by one of my producers, Nick Hallenbeck. So together they made that. It's beautiful. There's references to all my jokes in that poster underneath. When that's off, you'll see the album art that's going to be released. But yeah, so it's so shout out to those guys for their contributions there. And yeah, January 21st, 2024. So coming out strong in the new year. You're going to be able to see it on that YouTube there, Legit Laughs Comedy.
I've seen the art and the special, and they are both fucking amazing.
now, as far as this legit laugh comedy,
Yep.
I would imagine that's just like comedian's channel. Is that a local
So
thing?
that is a
Like,
company.
what-
That is a company that formed. It's literally an LLC, Legit Laughs Comedy.
That's so funny.
They formed
Words.
So they formed, and I'm the first special.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and
Great.
I'm going to be consulting with them as well. So the plan was, so you could see the show, you could see it. We did a screening of it, but we don't have any more live screenings because we just did one to kind of show it. Beely was there, so we know it works. But we filmed it back in June, on June 2nd, at the marquee room at the Stadium Theater. And we did 2 shows, and we used mostly the second show for the audio. So you can tune in. People are commenting. You can tune in on that day. It'll be a Sunday, January 24th and 21st. Sorry, 2024. But yeah, we filmed it. We filmed it at the the Marquee Room,
Stadium.
at the Stadium Theater, and the way we did it, one of the things I'll be consulting with LLC on in the future, I mean, the special is obviously done under my comedy, name and creds, and then their producer credits on it and stuff like that. So we own it together. And the thing I'll be consulting on, the reason they asked me aboard, I've been asked if the special was crowdfunded or anything like that, and it wasn't. And we didn't. I didn't, ask anybody for money or anything like that. I sat down with the guys and we figured out a ticket structure and a show structure. That's why we did 2 shows. We figured out a ticket structure to where they would pay me my asking price for headlining, and that those 2 totals combined would then pay for the filming.
Okay.
So all of the profits that I would make, like when I get paid for a show, paid for the show. So the special was made because people wanted to see it.
Excellent.
That's the way it was made.
You made me buy a ticket, so
I made everyone buy tickets. Yeah,
You gave your girlfriend a free one. You had
well, if you'd seen her, you would know why.
Yeah, and I gave her a ticket
Nice.
too.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I gave her a ticket too.
You always look at me when you make that goddamn Netflix joke, you bastard.
No, so I thought that was cool, and we thanked everyone for sure. We didn't and we didn't even really advertise that. Like, I didn't want anyone to think like they had to whatever. Well, we talked about it. Me, Nick, and the other producer Corey and I, we joked about how like it could have just ended up just being a fun night with the guys, but we made the nut, so we were able to get it off the ground.
Excellent.
I will say I saw a lot of local comedians come out and support Dan, which was really awesome because, you do see both sides. It's like fucking Star Wars and comedy. There's the light side and the dark side.
All right, so I see. That was going to be a see. I want to go to your Instagram first, Dan.
Sure,
but that was going to be my another
Yeah, we can
question
get to
about
that.
the dark side because there's got to be a lot of a little bit here and there.
I think we can.
I
hate
mean,
to some
there's
things.
only a limited time and spots that people can get out there. So
Yeah.
there's got to be a lot of kind of what was the show, the reality show when people used to kind of screw each other over to get a higher rank on the island,
Survivor,
or in the house. Yes, that one of those, and
Big Brother,
and stuff. Whatever, like.
I don't know.
It's not a reality show, but there is people
gotcha.
trying to, jump on other people's backs to get a little head here.
I'm sure these same
A little
people would
head.
sign up for the show. Yeah.
yeah. I'll have some on, but I'm gonna have to weed them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let me get to your Instagram right now. Is there anything you want to check out as far as your Instagram?
No, I
It
think
looks
my
like-
Instagram is mostly like stuff I'm doing right now. I think if you scroll down,
Alright,
you
let me-
might see the album art.
All right, yes. Let me.
That ankle picture, that actually I have a story about. That was when Dan and I did a show together.
Oh yeah.
Very good show. Pete Andrews, thank you. Up in New Hampshire, had us up for
where
the
are we looking
weekend.
right now?
Right here, you just
The foot.
looked up- Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, we had a
out of
great
all
weekend.
the pictures, I got
Yeah.
the fucking foot.
So Dan and I got booked for the weekend. We went up to New Hampshire.
That's Betty White.
Yeah. Oh, there's
like-
Oh
Betty
my
White
God,
the cat.
cat made a cameo.
It's called-
I fucking love it.
That's called
cameo.
callback. Pete.
Cameo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Corey would love that one. So we did a show for a weekend. This was after
That
the
sexy
second
leg.
night. Dan had a great set. It
You
was a
shave
good
your legs, by the
time.
way, or just,
I don't. I'm
it's
just
like,
a fucking
not
nerd.
just your
It's
jeans.
Yeah,
sexy.
no,
He's
yeah.
just naturally sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's hot, man. Just your kneecaps got hair on.
Thanks,
Well,
brother.
not so
Yeah.
hot because he doesn't have that much
All right,
hair.
do we got to keep looking at this here?
We don't.
No.
All right. See, the story
All right,
there
all right,
is
you can keep telling the story. I'm going to go through
Dan
his
is
Instagram and
getting an
embarrass him a little
applause.
bit.
He's coming
That's
down
my family,
stage,
yeah.
and I think somebody may have thrown flowers at him because he ended up dodging it and falling down the stairs and injured himself. So comedy is a full contact sport. People, you didn't know.
Is this, what is this, all
These
this
are
stuff
just-
we're looking at? Is this all stuff you're into?
Yeah. I was watching movies with my kid.
I
There's
see.
Coops. Yeah.
Coops, that
Andy's
was
show?
Andy Kurtz.
Yeah.
Does he have any more of those shows? I know that they have a card fights coming up in the 27th.
Yeah.
But I know he was doing.
So you were just scrolling through like my like
Your life.
month.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
can't
no,
hear.
you're just going through like the movies I watch with my kid for Halloween, and
It's
just
pretty
things
interesting. I
post.
know you're into gore and shit like that. Looking
Yep.
at you a heavy metal guy? Like, what's your thing? What's your background with
So
that's
I'm into like thrash and punk and hip hop, pretty much. That's Anal Trump. That's a super group.
It's fucking awesome. I'm finding out so
It's
many
like
things.
it's like a Narragansett bottle cap.
You're gonna-
I like the Ninja Turtles. There's Anal Cunt. Yeah,
Seems to be a theme here, Dan.
that's a band.
Who's that?
That's Gigi Allen. I was watching one of his VHS.
We're getting like to layers here. with
That's
Dan here.
that's my godson,
There
Quentin.
you go.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna get sued for putting a toddler on here.
Oh, that's my god baby.
Nice tattoos.
Are you not
too,
supposed to
Ray.
be
What's
within
up?
so many
Thanks,
feet of
man.
them? Or
Yeah, I just,
I'm pretty sure
I don't like
digital
to-
doesn't
I
count.
don't like to throw people's
That's,
babies on.
That's
on
green
there
jelly.
when we're swearing and drinking beers. And
That's
shit.
fair.
It's green jello.
What is that?
That's a VHS of the Serial Killer soundtrack by of the Serial Killer by Green Jello. Remember that band?
No.
It's also the same face Joe Biden makes anytime somebody asks him a question.
Anyway, just
Alright, we're gonna
all the
get
shit
that
I
out
like. Yeah, get out of my.
No, that's pretty cool, dude. I mean, I was going through. I'm like,
Yeah.
is this So
if you go,
there
if you
is
scroll,
that
if you scroll down,
way
like,
down.
yeah, like keep looking. Go a little bit
the
further.
special?
That's a special.
Where? All right, wait.
That's a picture from it.
All right. Well, let's picture.
Oh, there was Portland, Maine Comedy Fest.
Look at you with the Adidas. Is that? Oh, wait, he's all Adidas now.
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great look. I love this shit.
Thanks, man.
I don't have Adidas on.
Yeah, now I was going for the.
I like the corn.
Run DMC. Really?
Yeah.
Corn.
Oh,
Oh,
check out my
where
boy.
are we? We go back.
check out my boy Alan Fitzgerald. Yeah,
It's just another funny guy.
it's another great guy. He's got that specials already out. It's on YouTube, straight for pay. Great name.
Nice.
Dan was on that in that.
But anyway, get out of here.
All right, we're getting. I see.
Track.
We're way tuned.
Hey, that's my face.
All right, we can go to your Instagram in a minute, also, but
That's
let's get to the dock side and.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you don't
bring
think
it
I'm
up.
gonna forget that shit. Listen. if
We're
you,
trying
You
to.
don't know much about me, but in the MMA world, I'm the controversial guy that'll
Yeah.
stick the stick in the spoke. To
You're
get
the
things
heel?
Going. I'm the guy that gets
Yeah.
the fire under people's ass, and a lot of people don't like me because I get it out there at some.
Because your description sounds like chlamydia.
I need to take what is known in my life as a diabetes break because I have to pee all the time. So if you turn
So
my
go ahead.
camera off,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't training enough.
Yeah, I
I'll
can.
just pee right here.
Oh, yeah. There's a bottle somewhere.
It's gonna be, it's just me and him. You can go pee, do whatever you gotta do. So as far as you,
Mhm.
let's get to your Instagram now.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
I know yours
Deep
is not
dive.
as in depth as his.
Mine's a
You
lot
have,
of shows and stuff like
yeah,
that.
you have a lot of your content as far as live stuff and. little things like
Yeah, I posted some of my material early on, just so that I had some kind of presence. I have some newer stuff coming. I have a guy that works out of state on the back end that wants to start editing my stuff. So hopefully we'll have some clips coming out soon. I'll start posting that on the YouTube at Be Funny on every platform because I'm a whore. So I want to make sure you can find me and pay me. But yeah, most of my stuff up there is stuff from shows or me posting for shows. That's Alex from Alex House of Social. She's out of Dubai. She's somebody.
Really?
Yeah, she does a lot of coaching about like online presence and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that's actually not how I met her. There was an app called Hi-Ho for a while. It's no longer around, but you would talk via video message. It would just be video messages back and forth.
Okay.
But it would be like threads, and so you would follow different people. And I still have a ton of friends, online friends from that we all still follow together. Actually, the guy that wants to do my editing is one of those people that I met on there. So met a lot of great people on there, and then the thing fizzled away and died. But it was like a Gary V. I was attached to it. I think he might have been an investor or something, but he was on it for a while.
This is cool. You have all these shows up here, like you said.
That's a
and,
show.
we'll
That
go
was when
back.
I made it into Last Comix Standing.
Oh, nice. Now,
That,
Steve DiNucci, I know from doing the open mics at Pub on Park.
yep, Steve's
I think
known
that's
for that.
probably where I first saw him You know, he hosts a lot of shows there.
Hub is
correct?
actually Steve's mic, but Steve works very closely with John Parada, who's also very well known on the local
Yes.
scene. Steve and John work hand in hand. John has.
He sounds hot. doesn't he?
I don't think so.
sexy.
I've heard that, but then people see my face and it just, voice for
Well, you know, it's
voice for
Spotify for you
radio,
only.
taste.
Spotify for B. Lee only.
Yeah. Unfortunately, people want to see YouTube.
All right, so here we go. John Parada, I love because he's
A lot of people are big
relentless
fans.
on the crowd. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's been.
He's ripped me apart a couple of times. I'm a
Has
postal
he?
worker, so he was all over me about postal workers.
He's got a lot in the canon. He's like Santa. There's always a present in the bag with John. He's been doing it a while, so he's ready for every event.
Miss Laddie. I think I follow her on Facebook.
Miss Lottie.
Lottie.
Miss
She's
Lottie's
from
out
Boston?
of Boston.
Yeah,
She
yes.
is. Yep. I actually did a
See, I
guest
pay
spot.
attention.
Yeah, I did a guest spot on one of her shows on Federal Hill at VL Lounge. She normally does a monthly show out of there. Miss Lottie, very funny.
I didn't know if you had people like live commenting. So I
Oh,
was
they
looking.
do, but I don't see them because I'm not paid. They probably do, but
What do they comment on? Because I can't find them. I was gonna start talking to people.
Yeah.
You guys were talking.
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
can't.
cute.
Yeah.
I usually have my laptop on with all of them on, but for some reason,
What is it on Facebook or on?
There's Facebook people, but I don't know if they're commenting. Are they?
People,
know.
where are you? Are you commenting? Make
there
your
are
comment
people on
about
YouTube, and there are people on
Okay. All right,
Facebook.
I'll look around
Actually,
while you guys talk about how sexy he is.
I mean, if they're sending any hate messages, we can segue into his next segment. But yeah, no, Miss Lottie's great, John's great, Steve's great. They all, have a hand in, local comedy for sure. Miss Lottie's pretty new on the scene. Like I said, I opened up her show not that long ago. That was her.
now you said she's new on the scene, and you opened up for her show. How did she get a show being so?
So she's 2 years in the game.
Okay.
And she's been running shows for a year. And so a little longer now. But that was a couple of months ago. And
When
that
you
was her
run a
anniversary.
show, are you in the show also? Or are you just
Some people are.
organizing
Some
the-
people are. Some people just host it. Some people will do like a guest spot. Some people headline their own shows. It really depends on who puts it together. I put together a show with Dan, myself, Lee Sayat, and Patrick McKinstry out in Connecticut. A local brewery out there had contacted me and asked me to put together a show. And so I got together the best guys I knew. And, I just did an opening spot. I had Patrick host it. I didn't, take a big spot on it at all. Other people will always headline their shows. Lottie normally hosts her shows, so she keeps the show going. She's a real good entertainer in that way. She's got a local, following. She Come Platinos is her tag.
Very pretty lady too, so that
She doesn't
that
hurt on
helps,
the eyes,
you know what
yeah.
I mean,
I don't
there's
think
some of them
anybody would
pretty,
say that.
pretty ladies coming up in comedy that are like
They're
nice on the eyes and they're dirty as fuck, which makes it like so much.
Oh, you're one of
nicer.
those perverts.
I'm a fucking massive pervert.
Well,
Kidding me?
See, I look at
Fucking-
comedy, either you're funny or you're not, either way. But I will say it's a lot funnier when a woman talks about pussy than it is when I
Yeah,
do.
it's funny when they can
Yeah.
just like not have any fear
It's-
and just and it's
It's
you
a
know.
social thing.
But I think
'cause
it
you're not
helps
used
when
to it.
I think it helps when you're an attractive woman talking about
You
pussy.
guys are
too.
polite to say women are funny. I'm just kidding.
This is where Dan
Well, we
plays
gotta-
the part of the
yeah.
heel.
My actually one of my biggest inspirations growing up for comedy was Maria Bamford.
Oh, okay.
The absurdism and everything, like
Mhm.
switching voices and just her writing. Just one of my. I look up to her still. She's still one of the best.
So as far as other than that, how old are you?
I am 43.
All right, so you're still a decade more.
Are you doing math?
I was not very good.
Wasn't
I
told
was,
there was any math.
I was.
I have dyscalculia.
I grew up with like
This is not
Carol
fair.
Burnett.
It's my favorite cereal.
watching Carol Burnett and stuff like that.
Yeah.
in my parents.
I'm a big
Like
fan of
shit like that,
So I'm a big fan of yeah, I mentioned earlier I made a joke about it wasn't really a joke. I don't really like I've always admired like when I said earlier about I don't like to body shame people or whatever, but like I've always admired women in comedy. I mean, I do have favorite male comedians, like Rodney Dangerfield was the man for
Yes.
me. But I just, even as a child, like around like 10 or 11, I started being able to suss out who was writing, who was creating things. And I was so into the Golden Girls. I mean, not just to name a cat, Betty White. It wasn't just a cultural joke. I've been watching them since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Susan Harris, who created the Golden Girls, wrote the Golden Girls, the spinoff Empty Nest. She had a show before that called Soap that they used to show.
Fucking fabulous.
One of the best shows in the world, right?
Show.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I do stand-up.
Billy Crystal was in that show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He
Wasn't
played,
he gay in
played
that
an
show?
one of the first openly gay characters on television.
Fucking great
Now
Now
show.
he's back in the closet, but
No, but seriously, like, I think Susan Harris, like, knowing that she existed, that she was a writer at 10 years old, was a big inspiration to me. Even seeing, like, and not because of the gay thing, but because I'm not gay, but seeing Ellen DeGeneres, when she was starting out on HBO, I was like, wow, that's brave. You know what I mean? Because seeing any kind of representation, like a woman doing something, or a gay person, or a black person, obviously I'm white, and so I wasn't worried. So I'm represented. But
wait,
but
Yeah,
I was going through.
every time you say something, I'm waiting for a remark out of this guy.
But I was going through so much as a kid, like child abuse. I was raped, I was beaten, all that shit. So like, it took me a long time to realize I had agency, right? So seeing any kind of representation just felt nice.
Yeah.
Like, this is a person who's been through a lot, and they did something with it. So even though I'm white and will probably get a lot of offers in the future, and I have to worry about the systemic problems, I'm still feeling like, inside, I'm feeling like a minority, like a majority, like I'm feeling like someone that's not going to make it. So for me, it was very inspirational, and that's why I gear toward that now. And I love filthy comedy, but I love like underground rap. I love the underdog. You know what I mean? I love that stuff. I love stuff that shouldn't, like, you almost feel like it shouldn't be famous because it's so fucked up, or the person that made it is so fucked up. That's my jam. So
You get mad when things are that are so fucked up get mainstream. Not only
I get happy. I get happy. The best thing in the world is it's like 35, 40 years later, right? I wear Guar shirts to work with my sleeves up and my tattoos out, and people are like, oh, Guar, my nephew's brother, like Guar, and
like they're talking about wine. Oh, my brother's sister's cousin.
everybody
went to a
knows
concert.
somebody who
Yeah,
knows Gua.
and like back in the day, like when I was like 14 or 15, I'd be like, fuck you, Guar's mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But now I'm like, that
share
means,
it. You know
like,
what I
that
mean?
means you had to look at 4 peepees. You know what I mean? Like the lead singer's got this udder with 4 dicks on it.
Oh,
It's utterly ridiculous. That's what he said. You know what I mean? But it's like, but if you know what Guar is, then that means that you've been exposed to it, and that's funny. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
Exactly.
And that's good because that's good for them. And it keeps it in the world for me. So I don't get mad. I don't feel like things like sell out. I just feel like, if it changes and it gets stupid, then obviously I don't like that. But if they're still doing what they do.
Because he never gets mad. You ever see him mad on stage? You ever
Oh,
see
absolutely.
him get fucking
I meant
motherfucker.
The worst night
I'm
I
going.
ever bombed was because I like to, sign myself up right before or after Dan because I'm a glutton for punishment. So I was up after Dan this night where he threatened to rape every hack comedian anally to make
You had to tell that story?
to make their Catholic school jokes at least passable.
So I got tired of it. So you're going to call me out.
Oh, I'm gonna make you talk about
We're on a UFC podcast. You're taking me to the fucking mat.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
All right.
I
well,
got you in the guillotine.
Fucking, that's where we are.
not
That's
gonna
what
tap
this show's
out.
all about.
I'm not going to tab out. I'm going to fucking go for it. So I'm going to put you in traction. So okay. I got tired one night at an open mic, and let's just preface this by saying your boy's been going through a lot lately.
It was, during mid-divorce.
Yeah, divorce again.
There was a lot
Yeah.
going on.
So I'm
That's a
sitting
lot
there at an open mic, and I do.
Do you mind if I grab one for Dan?
Fucking go ahead, man. Grab two. I got one in my
we're
bag,
not trying
too.
to start him back that strong.
And I do, like Beely will tell you, like I watch the comedians, and I will give advice if they want it, or I'll take advice too, like from anyone from 1 day in the game to a million days in the game. Like if you have an idea, you heard one of my jokes and it made you think of something, and you want to tell it to me, I'm open. I'm not an asshole like that.
Do people really come up to you,
Mhm.
give you some advice that are really not?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm
It's
very
comedy.
open. I'm very open.
Unlike Dan, I will give you advice even if you don't want it.
Yeah, no, but I'm very open to the. I have gotten some. One time, this crazy dude.
One time at band camp.
No, one time, yeah, I stuck a flute up my pussy. No, I have a pussy, guys.
He stuck it up mine. too.
That's why representation is important. No, so one time, this crazy guy, I don't remember his name, but he was a comedian, but he was out of his. I say comedian, but he was an insane person that came to mics and did comedy.
What I've seen on open mics a lot. Yeah.
One
Go ahead.
time, I used to have this joke about, what the fuck was my joke about? I don't remember what it was. I think it was a joke about, I was like, I was very new, but it was about religion. And it was like, modes of transportation to the afterlife. Like hell's better. You get the highway to hell. You can go to hell in a handbasket. You get delivered, but heaven, it's like stairs.
Fucking tired.
Yeah.
There's no elevator.
Yeah,
in
it's
heaven.
like stairs and stuff. Yeah, all this other shit, right?
It's a good premise.
It was okay,
Okay.
but it ended up not
A
staying
lot of
with
work
me.
to get to fucking heaven.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is fucking hell. Like
Right?
you said, it's fucking
It's
fast.
so much
Quick.
easier.
If there was an escalator to heaven, I'd be okay.
This crazy guy, and I don't remember. I wish I saved it. I don't have it anymore. He went home. He must have taken some notes. I don't know what he did. He went home and he got out a typewriter, not like a computer, not like a pad and pen. Motherfucker had a typewriter. I don't know if I'm saying it weird. Typewriter.
Yeah,
Typewriter.
I was gonna
Typewriter.
You're
was
saying it
waiting for it.
you're saying it like it's two things.
Yeah, typewriter. He had a type of writer.
Typewriter.
He had a type of writer.
I thought I was the one that couldn't speak it.
He went in and he retyped my entire bit, pages. Because this was a long bit. It ended with like something like Jesus coming out of a limo with strippers and Red Bulls, and it was crazy. It was weird. I don't remember the joke, right? But
I'm
he
happy I
rewrote
didn't
it.
know
Could be a
then.
new joke, right?
He rewrote it. And it was not anything that I had written. It was like a psychotic person's ramblings
Of what he interpreted.
of what he interpreted my joke to be. And he came up to me after a show where I was getting paid to headline, and I did a good job, and I did my joke the way it was. And he came
This
up.
joke that he wanted to revamp for you.
I didn't do the revamp
All
version.
right,
I did the joke the way it was.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
I
Yep.
got paid for the show. Everybody liked me. It was a good time to be a new comedian for me then.
Yep.
He came up to me after the show and immediately burst my fucking balloon because he was like, "Hey, man," because he was considered like he used to have brains, I guess, and then he was considered like doing well in comedy, and then something happened. So I don't remember his name. It's not something. I'm not being.
No, that's fine.
I'm not keeping it from anyone.
He's
If,
like, give me the name.
if I remembered it, I
We
would.
got a long car ride home.
If I remembered it, I would. He came up to me after the show and he goes, "Hey, I thought about your bit, and I think I have an idea for you." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely." He goes, "Here," and he hands me a fucking like a homework
Encyclopedia.
packet. Like it's stapled together like a homework packet. You know what I mean? He's like, "Here you go," like a college thesis. I'm like, "What?" And he goes, a couple of ideas.
Now, why is he helping you? Like,
Well, so
He thought I needed it.
here's the thing, because I know
are we gonna get to the dark side?
Wait, I forgot what we were talking about before.
We're talking about giving advice. And he gave you advice
Oh,
that
yeah.
you didn't want.
Yeah, because I asked you, because you said, I'll take advice from anyone. And I went, you really take advice
Well,
from
we got to get into the rape.
Evidently you do. You take a whole fucking...
We got to get back. We got to. So I never did that.
Oh, that's right.
We got to
Yeah,
get to the
the
rape.
joke. The
So
joke, yeah.
unfortunately, I did not take that advice, but I will entertain you. I did, at the time I was smoking pot, so I did have a fucking blast reading it to my cat. So it was great. But anyway, back to the rape. I was sitting at the mic, and like I'm an open dude. I'll talk to people. And I don't know if I wasn't hosting that night. I was just there.
Yeah, you were just doing
But-
a spot. Yeah.
So there obviously with comedy, there's tropes too, right? So there's like a lot of joke premises that comedians do are not original premises. They're like, I'm gonna have the better joke about this premise. And then they go up and they try to be the funnier one with the shitty premise. But it's the same premise over and over again, right? One of those premises that I can't stand is I was Catholic. Nobody ever raped me. Jabba-da-bop-a-dop. Right?
Next
And-
up, Dan Martin.
So I was sitting.
You're a liar!
No, so I was sitting there that night, and one guy does it fine, right? I'm an open mic. One guy does it, not gonna hit my radar.
Yeah.
That's all right. You don't know the guy. 2 guys do it. Okay. 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys.
I mean, he might be exaggerating by 1, but
I
it
don't
was
know
a
that
lot.
I am.
It was a lot that night because I watched him like building up the anger. Like he kept looking over at me like, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
Did he not hear that guy do it? Like,
Yeah.
and it was like, and it's one of those jokes that it's like they're not stealing from each other. They're just dumb.
Yeah.
Like they just think like, no, I'm the funny one who wasn't raped.
Yeah, they all planned
I'm-
on doing that
Yeah,
night.
I'm the Catholic. I'm the Catholic with a clean butthole. I'm making it funnier. But
But yeah, a lot of them are like, "Oh, I wish they had, because then I'd have a story." And so, like
Yeah.
Dan, I mean, I just watched it in his eye, like the one that wasn't twitching. He was like, "I can't."
Smoke
and he
coming
went
out.
up there, and he just toasted them. He's like, "I'll make you all funnier."
well, I was like, so
Is this recorded somewhere? No.
It's not-
He probably's got
it's
the
probably
footage.
on my phone.
Yeah, we
Recorded
normally
it.
try to
Shit.
record most of our stuff. video
So
or
what I
voice.
did was when I went up there, I was like, guys, like this has got to stop. You know what I mean? Like if, I was like, I was actually raped. I was actually raped, not by a priest. It was my step cousin, but it happened. And I was like, and I'm hilarious. I was like, so the missing piece here is that you weren't actually raped. So if you guys want to be funnier, I'll help you.
Yeah, get raped.
And I'm saying the R word a lot, and I'm sorry, listeners, but I was like, who wants my hilarious balls slapping up against their unfunny asses? And I had different examples of like,
Yeah, it was many different examples of how he would perform and why it would make them better. And I would like to have the opposite take. Also, could be that because your cousin wasn't ordained.
that's true. That's true. We didn't have the internet.
We don't
back
know
then.
the science.
Imagine,
of this.
Yes.
imagine if we had the internet and he just did a quick.
Yeah, just got a quick ordained.
You wouldn't be a comic.
He
right
could
now.
marry you in Ohio, but he could rape you in any state.
Thank God for him. We wouldn't have Dan Martin right now with his special coming out.
And I just want to say that, like, I know we're joking about it, but I do have to be serious for a moment. It's not funny. Rape, if you were raped or if you, know anybody that, get help and things like that, because I did. I'm in trauma therapy. We joke about it, but I'm not on stage right now, so just, want to be responsible. But yeah, so it was just a room full of comics, and I was just busting their balls, and I was just like, you got to stop. One guy left.
Yeah, I think he took Dan serious.
That's it.
And he
He's
started
not in
doing a
comedy
weight
anymore.
evaluation. He was like, Dan can take me. I'm pretty sure Dan's been stabbed before.
Yes.
I'm not going to let him stab me in the ass, where he's also been stabbed before.
So yeah, so we end up. I mean, we're big children sometimes.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and
Anyone's
some of
button
us
can
take
be
it really
pushed to whoever,
serious.
but-
You know, Dan and I mean, we say we joke a lot, and we're children, but we take it serious. And then there's other guys that I say, this is their golf. This is what they do on the weekends to get out away from the kids and
yeah.
the wife. And both are okay.
But at an open mic, I would do that. If we were at a show
No.
and the comics before me had jokes that sucked or not jokes I didn't like, I'm not going to get on stage and trash
Yeah, I understand.
my fellow
yeah,
comics.
Yeah.
I'm not
having a show like that. They wouldn't be doing that to you. Either,
right. We're not going to
Well,
tear
yeah.
each other down.
An open mic is a completely different
Yeah.
premise,
Yeah.
especially when he said, most of the other people in the room. Like, so if it's all comics, you're like, hey, whatever, I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's a whole different concept. Dan's a definite professional through and through when it comes to a show. And like he said, you wouldn't do that. Even if the guy bombed, you would go up there and try to give it your best because you're trying to put it on for a show. And like I was saying earlier, that's what I try to do with open mics. I look at everyone like a show because I don't get as many shows. So that's how I try to, use it as much as I can because that's what open mics are for. They're supposed to make you better. So I try to utilize it to the best of my ability,
Yeah.
And give you that reps. I mean, you're not going to get better unless
Yeah.
you like get that reps. I mean, had a comedy
Comedian?
comedian. Jesus
Words are
Christ.
fun.
Jesus, especially when you can't speak, like maybe you stutter and everything. But he was speaking about you can't just go out there maybe twice a month. You got to go out there as much as possible to get the reps in and to get comfortable out there and get that that fast memory kind of flashback. What do you call it when you can slap back at someone in the
muscle
audience
memory.
like
It's muscle memory.
yeah,
Muscle
is
memory.
that what do you call it muscle memory?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's just our brain muscles are a lot bigger than other people's.
and you and you got to be out there to have that and
Gotta have experience with anything, really.
and you got to be
Um,
funny. And I think it's got to be in you to be able to think that quick,
I think you can
in
write
a
jokes.
humorous way.
If you can write jokes, you could be a comedian. You don't have to naturally be funny. If you're a great writer, you can figure it out. But there's a lot of people that don't write enough, and that's where the problem is. It's like
There's a balance there too, because like I'm someone who I don't get out as much as I used to. Now when I get out a few times a month, it's booked stuff and things like that. And I do go to the open mic. I can only make one because of my schedule, so I go to Rick's 3-4 times a month. That's my main open mic. Sometimes I'll go to different ones and go to shows. But that's after 15 years of like I used to go out every night. I used to not work. I used to have no money. Shit like that. Comedy was my only thing. Hanging out with friends is the only way I would eat. We've gone through it. I spent a long time just living off of like I worked retail at Men's Warehouse, and I would get a free rental to wear to work. Because we had to wear like
You
tight
got to
suits and
have a
shit.
look the pot.
So I would get the free rental to wear to work, and I'd show up for retail, have to be there like 8-9 in the morning. And then I would like work late, and then I'd cross the street over to the Wendy's and change in the bathroom, and then take the bus or the train to New York. And then I would do mics till 3-4 in the morning, or do shows that I was booked on. And then I would take the train or bus back to the Wendy's and wipe up with like lemon wipes and like clean myself with hand wipes.
Back to
And then go to
regular
work.
life. Yeah.
Like cross
It's
the
a
street.
glamorous life, people out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Get into it.
You know what I
Lee
mean?
is fucking right there.
yeah. I mean,
So I mean, it's a balance because, like, and I'll go out. Beely, I'll tell you, like, I might not go to an open mic on a Tuesday, but I'll be at the cigar bar writing.
Yeah, Dan, and that's kind of my point. Is like you can be a great writer and not have to go up as much, And there's other people that just do crowd work, and some people think they're really funny, and if that works, it works. Like I said, there's a place for everything. I'm not necessarily a clean comic. There used to be a clean open mic that I never went to once because I said it's just I'm not going to do kid shows. It's not my thing. Now I have a gig coming up, where I'm going to be. It gets featured on TV, so I can't.
I gotta shout out my friend Tanya, who's watching and texted me, "Type a writer? What the fuck?"
Fucking awesome. Yeah, it's 2 words, right, Todd?
Thank you, Todd.
And he said it like 3 times in a row.
A lot of
It's
people
like,
don't believe we have mental disabilities, but we have paperwork.
I'm
and
right there with you.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
can't
why I was pronouncing it like that.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Typewriter.
Probably because I fucked up the word before that.
I
Somewhere
don't think
in
you did. Don't blame yourself.
No, it was
That's,
not you.
You're a nice host,
Yeah.
but it's not your fault.
Very polite of you.
I have holes in my brain.
You mentioned that. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
From everything you've been through.
And I did.
It's like
I
Swiss
did.
cheese.
I did acid for like years.
I never got into acid.
I was up to 7 hits
You should.
a day.
You really
No,
should.
mushrooms. Yeah,
I was
acid,
up to 7 hits a day.
I could. Here's the
You
thing.
shouldn't do that.
That's a ride you're on for 6 hours. You can't get off. Maybe
6 hours?
well,
Weeks.
yes,
Yeah.
because you're
7
taking like
hits is
fucking
gonna be a little
kilos
longer.
of it.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid taking it with my buddies, and I'd be like, the first hour, I'd be like, I got 5 more hours of this. I'd be like,
We did acid. So
it just didn't sit right with me for some reason.
I did acid my entire for like I would say from I did it more than this, but consistently at one point I did it from like 1995 and 1997, almost every day.
Yeah, you got some holes in that.
Yeah, and I was doing cocaine the whole time too.
I don't.
You're very intelligent, man. Maybe they're on that left side, or what side is that you don't really use much? Both sides.
Dan's just using what he's got left at this point.
Aren't there 4 sides?
It's like driving on a road in Rhode Island. You just use
I
what's
can
there.
see in
you know?
9 dimensions. Okay.
In 6 dimensions,
Something
he's
good came out of
hilarious.
acid abuse.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, something good. Every time I stretch my back, I get a free hit. I don't think if you've never done acid, you don't understand this. Like, you could be taking a really, those really deep shits,
Yeah, I got to take one right now.
like
but
really,
yeah.
really thick, loggy shits.
Nice.
Those will fuck you up. Like, I'll be taking a really hard shit. I'll look at the shower curtain and I'll be like,
Oh yeah, it does. It's fucking stress, man.
You
Some
lucky
shit. I had a
bastard.
friend that
You know what I'd give for that?
he passed out during shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, he had a problem.
I think that's
with,
a
like,
different
blood
issue.
pressure or
that's a
something.
different issue. I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
is it-
acid flashbacks.
Yeah.
Shit
Is that what's going
I think
on?
your buddy
Yeah.
go see
Well,
somebody.
he did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think he might have.
Hopefully
his-
it wasn't a
He
corner.
used to have to take a shit and they fucking pass out on the shit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not
a
normal.
lot of pressure going on.
Guys, talk to your
X-Lax.
proctologist. Yeah,
X-Lax.
if you're
Take an
passing
X-Lax.
out on the
I got
toilet.
shit in there from 1968.
When I was a little kid, I used to get boners when I shit, but I think that's a Freudian stage of life. Yeah.
You don't have like a sponsor that brand or
might get one
X-Lax
now.
or something.
Fucking
Yeah.
some shit.
I was
shit
leading you into a
fucking-
segue.
I
there.
might try.
Guys, talk to your local proctologist.
Guys,
Man,
you like
if you
listening
don't
to
have
The
one,
Room?
talk to doctor.
Yeah, if you want to shit, listen to The Room.
Use code the backroom.
Well, I got like a couple more questions.
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
we're gonna, I mean, we could be here for 3 hours.
Yeah, we could Joe
Um,
Rogan this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Forget it. But a couple more questions. As far as getting a spot on an open mic or a show. Show is much harder, but open mic.
Open mic is not getting. You just kind of show
Is
up.
it just
Yeah.
anyone walks in and
Most
puts
of
their
them you just-
name down? It
most of
doesn't
them-
matter.
Yeah, some of them fill up really quick, so they have a different setup.
Yeah.
Some of them you can pre-sign up, but yeah, it's literally open
First
to
come,
anything.
first serve kind of thing.
Yeah, some open mics you have to bring people. Some you have
So there's
some you have to pay.
Yeah, but
depending on where
locally-
you
See, that's
are.
where I was in it because I
Rhode
had
Island, you
a
don't
comedy,
see that.
Not Rhode
a
Island,
comedian. That was the word I got wrong.
Comedian.
I was a
Comedian?
I was saying comedy guy. I couldn't say it.
Comedian.
You said
Oh.
comedian, kind of like what we are right here with you, Steve. He was mentioning that you have to pay,
Some of
like
them.
$20-$30. But I could see that.
Well, I don't know about that, but there's somewhere you. Well, maybe, but there's somewhere you like pay $5 and then they might have like a drink limit.
Yeah, I have a buddy who moved up to New York, my buddy Antonio Barbosa, and he was telling me that in New York, that is what it's like. You do have to pay for some of the open mics.
And I can
get
see
on 'em,
that's because you're gonna have to pay to have it
Yeah.
to keep it going.
Some
kind
are
of thing, you know what
lotteries
I mean?
too.
You
Like
know?
you put your name in a bucket, and
Mm.
so
But out here in Rhode Island, at least,
it's a lot of show and go.
yeah, it's you could pre-sign up for a lot of the Danuccio and Parada mics. Corey's is first come first serve. There's some other ones where they literally will drop the list and people will go at it like a whole bunch of angry piranhas.
So that's my least favorite style. But yeah, no, I mean, there's all different stuff, but locally it's normally pretty easy to get signed up if you really want to do it. And that's kind of the hardest part. That was the hardest part for me, who was signing up the first time.
Yep.
I would think that that's a really hard part for a lot of people. It is scary for a lot of people going on stage, but the good thing about the open mics is it's, there every week. People are there that have been through what you've been through. We've all done it. And if you want to, be a comedian, or somebody said, oh, you should be a comedian, try it out to see if they were right, at least, But because I say I wish I started 10 years earlier. That's my biggest thing. You were asking earlier, how'd I know? I had college professors telling me I should be a comedian on a cruise ship. And I remember being insulted. And it wasn't until I became a comedian when I realized why.
Wow, they were really intuitive.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're like,
they
you should
know
be
it.
a comedian on a cruise ship. And I'm like, a cruise ship? I'm better than a cruise ship. Like, fuck you.
I'm not.
But
Now here I am. I'm doing
I'll make a
comedy.
living on a cruise
I'm
ship.
not better than a
fucking-
cruise ship.
I'll live on one from
Cruise,
year round.
If you're still naming your cruise line, call me. It's fine. I don't care now. Like I said, am a whore for
I'll
comedy.
do one
couple of
on a
friends.
tugboat.
I got a couple of
I'll
friends.
tug you on a boat if you give me a
Oh,
job.
that's-
I got a couple of
That's
friends
fucked
that play in a band, a cover band, and they play on cruise ships.
Yeah.
They go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fucking amazing.
Like, I love this.
Amazing.
Play drums,
Well, I'm not good enough to play on a cruise ship yet, but
but you play drums.
There you go.
yeah, I played
Sometime.
drums for years and years.
Nice.
Growing up, I played original. We used to play the living room and shit
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Really heavy stuff. I put the drumsticks down for like 25 years, and a year and a half ago, I started taking lessons again. And
I played the living room
Yeah.
too. I was in a band for like 12 years.
No shit.
Yeah.
What'd you play?
Played bass.
Nice.
I played drums too.
Yeah, we both, with the bass player and the drummer, get no respect. There.
Yeah.
The fucking back of the bus.
I still get no
You know what I mean?
respect.
I play with myself in the living room.
Well, I do. I play.
The living room.
You
Yeah.
you
Mostly
played with
mine.
yourself there.
Mostly mine.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Sometimes Dan's.
All right, last question
Uh-oh.
before I can let you give
This is heavy.
everything out. No, it's not going to be the Darth Vader and shit like that. But how does the leap happen when you actually play a show, get paid? Like, how does that, like, not how does it happen? You have to be good for it to happen, but where's that structure as far as when you actually getting paid to perform?
Yeah.
Where's that leap?
It's a lot
does
of
that
knocking on
happen?
doors at our level, or my level, I should say. It's a lot of self-promotion. Got to figure out who's the booker of what shows. Got to hit them up. Got to make a tape. Got to get on a show so that you can make a tape, so that you can get on other shows. It's a lot like, when you're trying to apply for a job and they're like, oh, you have to have so many years of experience,
Yeah.
but you can't ever find a job to get the experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have to have a tape, send out a tape. They have to like your tape. They normally don't even watch the tape. They just want to see that you put one together. But I find that that's a lot of it in the beginning, for at least for me. You reach out to everybody you can. It's great for me because I go to, some stuff with Dan and I meet some new people. So I've gotten to shows like that. But a lot of it is, shaking hands and kissing babies because
Exactly.
you
A lot
gotta
of
have
ass.
the
A
right
lot of
friends.
ass.
When I started out, I had a similar experience. But it was mostly just being there, being in the room. To quote Hamilton, the room where it happens, right? So you're at even recently, even 15 years in, I'm at an open mic, and I impress someone, and then they have an opportunity, and then that grows for me, and then this comes out of it, and that comes out. It's the same still, even 15 years in.
Yep.
Like, I got to meet somebody to get on new shows. Like, I've done every show around here, and then they'll have me back, and I've done it. I've done every show around here multiple times. I could still do shows around here, but you do one show around here, then you have to wait because you're not going to just be on it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, especially now that, when you're headlining, you make more money. So you do the big money spot on that show, and then they got to cycle you through. So you got all your other buddies and people coming in from other states are going to come in and headline, and maybe you go do 5 minutes, but you don't get paid, or you do a guest spot here and there. But even I still make tapes, do a guest spot to make a new tape or whatever. Luckily, I have the special now, so I can edit that down. But it's the same. No matter what level you're on, you have to you have to seek out your opportunities. You know, like we local comics, a lot of us don't have agents. We have to act as our own agents, right? And if you had an agent, what would they be doing? They'd be trying to get you to meet people that have shows that want you there. You know, and that's it. And the leap, I would say, is it can be as soon as you start, or it can be months to years after you start because you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it was right away. I had started. I was doing some bringers. Yeah, you get paid for the bringers, and then I started realizing go to open mics, meet more people. Then I was making tapes, and so for me, it was kind of right away. The leap was like a few months in. 6 months in, I was featuring for national headliners.
Oh, nice.
Once again, Dan and I are different comedians.
It happens though, but what I'm saying is like, but there was a time period. Well, at that point, I wasn't, you know, I was still drinking and things like that. So there was a point where I kind of burned out. It was too much, too fast, pissing people off here and there. And then I took a hiatus, not a hiatus, just from those people, not from comedy. And you rebuild. And then so like I'd say the past 6 years is where I really gained my whatever notoriety you might say I have. Right? There's a rebuilding. But comedy does that. Every 5 years you change. You know, you go through something. Every year you change really, but every I've noticed being 15 years in that every 5 year period for me has been like this butterfly thing, this cocoon of like something comes out of it.
Awesome.
You know, this being my 15th year, the special, you know, so every 5 years something. So it can be one day, it can be a million days, but the leap happens when you make it happen.
5 years from now, it could be what?
5 years
Joe
from now,
Rogan podcast talking about your special coming up.
Could be HBO.
we'll
you
be living
know.
in Austin by then, so it's a possibility.
Austin is all right. Austin's a huge
comedy hub right now.
Yeah.
I hear Joe Rogan talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Is he actually opening up his own kind of comedy clubs now?
Not opening. It's been
It's
opened.
already open.
It was designed by comedians. It's apparently one of the best clubs for comedians. They're doing something kind of special. He's getting his balls busted. I can tell.
My friend goes,
typewriter again?
No, like Tanya goes, you quoted Hamilton, you fucking nerd. I
fucking love it.
I respect it. Theater nerd. Sorry, I am a theater nerd. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Rogan's doing some great things out there. He's paying the comedians more than any other club. Apparently, he said as long as he just breaks even, he's really happy. So no, the club's wide open. They host regular shows out of there. They actually do. I know 2 open mics out of there. A buddy of mine, Maiko, he was up there and got to check it out and said it was awesome. I follow it because he does the Kill Tony show out of there with Tony Hitchcliffe and his old producer Red Band. If you are a fan of the show, you know Red Band.
What a fucking crew.
Yeah, so Tony and Red Band have been doing that, I think, over 10 years now. And they moved all their operation out to Austin, and they do it out of the mothership, Joe's Club. Red Band's got his own club literally across the street. So it's like old school.
Red Man?
Red Band.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I hate you.
Red Man?
No, he knows. He knows
tobacco,
I love,
chewing tobacco.
Yeah, he knows I love Wu-Tang.
He's a rapper. Red Man wasn't in Wu-Tang.
Method Man was, and Red Man is best friends with Method Man.
So there is a connection.
Stop. Yeah, no, he was like, I knew the test. I'm like, why are you doing this? We're on national television. As some of the people on Kill Tony see, I'm fucking awesome at segues. So no, I'm a big fan of Kill Tony. So like I said, I watched that, to get started. So I followed that. And I knew originally the plan was I was going to convert a truck and travel the country, hitting all the mics I could on my way out there. And then I was going to, try to start. And then I met my girlfriend. She's pretty cute. So I settled down for a little bit and had to do the plan with her. So now we're moving out to Austin as a goal, hopefully, in the next year or so. And I talked Dan into following me because I need to ride those coattails. So
excellent.
We'll see.
I do enjoy dry heat.
Yeah,
the girlfriend has a lot of faith in you. She
does. She
told
me
me you must make her laugh a lot.
It's actually not the case. I say I live with a built-in heckler. She is
fucking awesome.
She is a great comedy critic.
She's a big fan of mine though.
She loves Dan and other comics.
She better.
The guy she sleeps with. not so much. You know, she's like, try harder. Yeah, I want to be rich. Do better.
Exactly.
So he never has
That's a
to.
good
He
woman
never has to
behind
worry
you.
about me sleeping with her because I'd rather have a fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
Dan likes to have a fan in every room.
Big fan.
Yeah.
I get warm.
Yeah.
It's fucking hot in there. Love you, Dan. Megan.
That's his girl.
That's my girlfriend.
Yeah, she's over here. Fucking,
Yeah.
she hasn't
You
missed a
notice
trick
she
tonight.
didn't
Yeah.
say "Love you, B. Lee."
Yeah.
Look in the chat; it's not there. I guarantee it.
Well, I didn't find the comments, but that's all right.
Yeah, I can't. I don't see it. All I see is people watching. I see
Yeah.
no comments.
I love you too, Megan.
But we won't tell her there's her cups here.
Oh, she's watching. Yeah, she knows.
It's been in there.
Yeah.
You can see half of it in there. Between there.
And see, it's disingenuous for those at home. I have plenty of confidence. Yeah, it's not true. I often have.
Mine's all fault. Yeah, mine's all
syndrome.
fault.
All right, guys. So we're gonna leave off with you.
Goodbye.
Letting us know you have. I'm gonna put it up there.
Okay.
Anything coming up for you
I
as
do-
far as shows, open
Yeah.
mics, any things you're hosting? What's
So
going on?
all of the above. So this
Mm-hmm.
Thursday coming up, I'm hosting the open mic at Jake&Johnny's on Federal Hill. That's a pretty good mic normally. A good little place to grab a slice of pizza.
I'm coming.
All
gonna
right.
come.
All right, Steve.
gonna
I'll
come.
see you there.
I'm
I'll hold
coming.
you to it. So yeah, I'm hosting there, so I'll be there all night Thursday, and then next month I'm going to be on the Paul Santos show, which they do live on Facebook and I think maybe YouTube, but then it'll air on ABC after that at some time to be determined.
I think I seen that that you guys had
Dan's been
something
on it.
about that. Yes.
Yeah, good friend of ours, another comedian, Allison Dian. She is the comedy producer on that show. She also has her own production company, Dying for Laughs.
I've spoke to her. I wanted her to come down on the podcast at one time.
I'm sure you wanted her to come down on you.
Is she that hot?
She's not
all
bad
right.
on the
Oh
eyes.
my God.
I'm just
I mean, you know what the fuck?
Dan is
When you
not
start,
the
when you
same
stop talking about
comedian.
women, we just like, yeah.
No, I mean, she's not going to come
You know what I
here now.
mean?
Everyone's
Well,
like,
that's not what I mean. Can I
Al-
book her
Allison-
for another time
Yeah.
down the line?
Allison
You know what I
actually
mean?
makes much better dick jokes than me. So
That's true.
She is
probably
a
got a
very
bigger
funny
one, too.
comedian.
Sorry,
she's
sorry,
pretty-
Allison.
No, she's pretty short. It can't be that big. But yeah, no.
big's her
So,
feet?
anyways, she's the comedy producer on that show. That was the gig I was saying I can't swear on. So I'm really excited about that because that'll be the first time I'm on real television. So that'll be cool. I get to use that as a little humble brag. I'm not humble. But yeah, I have that coming up on January 15th. So you can watch me there. And then I have some gigs. I always announce them on my Instagram, my Facebook. You can find me everywhere at BLeeBeFunny. Can't miss me. I made it as easy as possible.
Awesome. Make sure you send me a message of that, the open mic this
Yeah,
Thursday.
definitely.
I'm definitely going to come down.
I'll hold you to it.
Damn, my man.
Yeah.
We leave off with you. I know you got the big special coming up next
Yeah,
month, but
if you do-
anything else going on with
Listen, if you do nothing else, just please stream my special and smash that subscribe button on January 21st, 2024, Raw Truth, which was just a labor of love. That I'm so excited for everyone to see that. So check the special out. As far as stuff coming up, that's all I really want to make sure you guys know about. But you can see me out in the world. You can follow me on Dan Martin Comedy on all the socials. TikTok, I got some videos up. YouTube, I got my old demo up there before the special drops. So check me out, but also on my Instagram and Facebook, Dan Martin Comedy. Come find me. I am guest judging a roast this Friday, the 29th in Worcester. I don't have all the stuff off the top of my head, so you will have to follow me online if you want to come out to the roast in Worcester. It's at the place at the ship.
Oh,
Yeah,
John Fletcher's place.
yeah.
No, damn it.
the ship.
Come check me out.
It's called the ship.
We told you our brains are broken.
But I will be there this Friday, 8 p.m. I'll put it up on my Instagram once I get the full story from the booker, but it's this Friday.
And when you do, actually throw it on this feed too. Like you could throw it in the comments.
Yeah.
For like because people are gonna watch this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Also, will you be there at his show Thursday? Or is you're not joined at the hip that much?
No, not that much. No, he doesn't follow me and everything. Also, because I am under him, Hotel Vernon was the place he was trying to come up with.
There you go.
To the
That's a fucking Google master
That's
right
my
there.
man.
Yeah.
Come to Hotel Vernon this Friday. One of the hosts, another podcast I did recently, Disturbing the Priest, Brandon Baddock.
Oh, Brandon's
What
show.
a fucking
Yeah.
great name.
Great guy,
Great
by
title.
the way. You can check out my episode of Disturbing the Priest. Just go to them on social media. Disturbing the Priest. They also, Brandon Baddock is the host of that podcast, and he put together this roast with some of his friends. So we'll be there, Hotel Vernon in Worcester, the 29th, around 8 p.m., and I will be judging a roast. And as you heard, when I'm in character, I'm a piece of shit. So
I can't wait to see you live.
you could also see me. Roasting people on a clip on my YouTube. So if you check out my YouTube, you can see me actually.
And
roasting
Megan already
someone.
signed my permission slip for that event, so I will also be there just watching. But if you do want to see Dan and I both doing comedy on the same night, we will both be at Rick's because I will be hosting there on January 31st, I believe. If that is a Wednesday, that lines up. I'm right. But he's normally there. I'll be hosting, so you can see us both that night.
I'll definitely be there too. Also,
No.
We'll hold you to that,
That
one too.
sounds
Andy normally
freaking
comes
great.
through to that one too.
And also,
I'll be there tomorrow.
I
too.
would love for you guys to come back on.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You know, maybe either right before the special or right after the special. We could talk about, post special and
Yeah.
stuff coming on there. I need some feedback on the B leagues. Who we're gonna have a couple of more comedians on here probably before you guys are back. But
Yeah, definitely.
I'll throw some names at you if
I
I
put
get
the
some.
B in B League,
If I
so-
get some more action, because I'm gonna throw that ad out again, because the people that messaged me, I forgot them already. You know what I mean? They gotta come back. They gotta.
You'll
remind
probably
me and stuff
forget
like
them
that.
after they're
This was
on.
a-
But you
This was a
also
good
know
time. I got
you
to tell some
you
stories.
also know people,
Yeah.
and if if they're pretty good up and comers, you want them send them my way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect your
Opinion?
yeah, but
Words
on
are
who
fun.
you think I know I can't fucking who you think would be cool on the show and who you want to
I'll keep in touch,
spotlight or
but
whatever.
This was fun. I know that, and I just want to say again, we told some crazy stories, but come check us out, and thank you for having us.
Definitely. I'll definitely clip some of this out. We'll send it out. It'll be on Spotify tomorrow if anyone's watching it live. We're all over the place. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And like I said, I'm trying to, expand the content. And
Perfect.
you guys were awesome fucking tonight.
Thanks,
You know what
appreciate it.
I
I
mean?
appreciate you having us.
man.
I had a couple of comedians on before you, but this was totally more informative and a little more funnier.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
cool.
mean?
You
Oh,
can,
stop it.
Well, I got two of you here. There's a lot of shit bouncing around, but come on, I gotta,
it's
I
cool.
got-
We love hearing we're the best.
It's hard. It is awesome, and you are too. So it's awesome. Anything you want to say before I let you go?
No, I just want to thank you again for having us. And yeah, you can find me Beely Be Funny anywhere you're looking, and most of those places except for Twitch because I twitch enough because I got a bad back. But other than that, thanks for having me. I can't wait to come back.
Anything last week you did?
He loved it.
Fucking awesome. With that said, we will be back next Wednesday doing a little more MMA. And then, after that, maybe we'll have another comedian on. But with that said, thank you so much, guys, for coming on tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm going to stop the film and let you guys go take a piss. And we're going to have
Yeah.
a chat and talk about some of these B-leaguers.
Bye.